Amanda's variety of works revolve around the idea of her body, as she is interested in issues concerning identity, be it personal identity or collective identity. Her works are sometimes collaborative in nature, as she involves other bodies to join her in the engagement with objects, memory and discussions. She even performed with her own mother, and documented the process using photography. She often uses indigenous found objects as symbolic tools or instruments of nostalgia. Her works explore real-world social issues in the context of Singapore's multiracial and fast-changing society. They explore concerns with the disappearing Singaporean collective memory, and the traditional conservative positioning, stereotyping and expectations of a woman in an Asian conservative patriarchal society in a modern city. Unlike many feminist artists, however, Amanda chooses a more amiable approach. Her art serves as a means to create dialogue across generations in order to reflect on who we are, how far we have come, what we have lost and what we can do about them. Amanda wants to use art as a tool for social awareness and change, urging the viewers to think more deeply about current situations and their unintended consequences. These include the traditional position of women in an urban city, and the increasing intergenerational gap that is widened by language policies and rapid urbanization. Unlike the trending art forms in Singapore, that were associated with the elite and wealthy and created for decorative purposes, Amanda hopes to highlight the importance of everyday life. She wants us to remember personal memories and disappearing shared spaces and actions, and how that affects our understanding and pride of our Singapore identity. Amanda also wants to create a direct encounter with people who participate in the art-making process. They experience a total sensory activation, such as the touch and smell of the bean sprout, or the feeling of uneasiness when walking backwards with a shoe in their mouth. These encounters evoke strong emotions and memories, allowing for conversations to continue beyond the artworks. Singapore's extensive urbanization led to many unintended consequences which are addressed in Amanda's works. For example, language policies that promoted Mandarin, Malay, Tamil and English were imposed to manage a multicultural population. This suppressed many dialects popular amongst the older generation. Amanda explores how language plays a critical role to bind communities, impart traditional values and create group identities, and how the attempt to engineer the language habits of the population creates a gulf in communication between the old and young generation of Singaporeans. Another consequence is the rapid development of industrial and commercial spaces, destroying the rural landscape with little concern for heritage conservation and the nation's collective memory. Conservation took precedence later on, but its intent is for the tourist gaze and heritage browsing rather than truly preserving authentic Singaporean lifestyle. Heng's works hope to represent, reconstruct, reclaim, restore and renegotiate the manners in which history is remembered, how it shapes our identity and how the past traditions can still be relevant today. Amanda is also concerned with the role of the female in society and the nation, in line with the emerging feminist discourse in Singapore in the early 1990s. She grew up in a patriarchal Chinese family, where Confucian values govern the roles of males and females, favoring the males and leaving domestic affairs to the females. When she participated in the Artist Village, Singapore's pioneering and most influential collective of contemporary artists, she found herself isolated amidst the male-dominated community. This led her to collaborate with other emerging female artists to explore feminist ideas and issues, encouraging more dialogue with the public on women issues and the female body. She explored infanticide resulting from her culture's favoritism over boys, the beauty industry that thrived due to women's desire to improve their employability, and the nation's manufactured nationalist representations using a young female in a kabaya. Yet in all her works, she avoids making rhetorical statements. Instead, she leaves room for dialogue and negotiation, for viewers to rethink how women should position themselves in society. Heng is interested in using the body, objects and space as she sees them as crucial elements in forming one's identity. Her body is present as she sees herself as a mediator that provokes the audience to activate and realize the works. Her gestures and choice of objects are simple, engaging and down to earth, making it relevant to people from all walks of life. Chosen objects are symbolic, quotidian and associated with female vernacular, making them highly relatable objects capable of resurfacing important memories. Photography becomes an important technique in capturing her actions, combining text and image, and documenting site-specific performances that show the union of the body, objects, space and the audience. Amanda also uses collaborative approaches with the community, by involving both intentional and incidental audiences in her art-making process. They allow for dialogue and exchange, building empathy and understanding from each other. She also uses collaboration as it is a feminist artist's critique on the genius status given to male artists, to elevate their sales in the art market.